Hello, my name is Dennis, and today I'll be showing you how to turn that into that. So there's going to be a couple things you're going to want to do before you get started. You're going to want to make sure you have an ice water bath. The ice water bath is to cool the tomatoes once you blanch them. You're going to put them in boiling water for about 1 to 3 minutes. Okay, so you're going to want to wash the tomatoes. Once they're washed, you'll put them in the boiling water. Let's see. We'll let that go for about 2 minutes or so. Okay, it's been a little bit over 2 minutes, and we're going to go scoop them up and put them into the ice water bath. So you take it out of the ice water bath to stop it from cooking, and also helps the skin break, and then you should just be able to peel it. Now in some cases you'll find that the tomatoes did not necessarily break open, but they should still peel reasonably easily. Once you're done with that, we're going to cut them up, we're going to cook them down. You want to cut out little bad sections like that as well, and you'll clean it up. You're going to core it. We'll show you that when we cut it up. This is what it looks like, and then we'll cut it up in a moment. So here we have the peeled tomatoes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them up. So this is what I generally will do. Just get a nice sharp knife. You'll cut it in half. Okay, for coring purposes, you'll just cut out this middle section. Okay, you get rid of that. Be careful. Okay, and for this, you can just cut that out, and we'll get rid of that, and I'll put that in the compost. Then what we'll do is we'll just cut these things like so, and slice them into chunks. And so we'll go through all of these, and I'll show you what's next. Okay, here's what the tomatoes look like after being all cut up. It's taken a little bit of time coring them and everything. I generally keep them cut like this. I like it with the seeds. I've tried it through the press and I didn't like it, so it's sort of a personal preference. So what I'm going to do, this is 7 quarts out of a 16-quart pan with those tomatoes that I showed you earlier. I'm going to add some salt. I would tell you how much salt to add, but the reality is different amount of tomatoes is going to require a different amount of salt anyway. So I just do it by look. This is sea salt. That's probably about enough. All I've added so far is salt, and I'm going to let this boil down for about an hour. Somewhere along the way, I will add maybe a bay leaf and some fresh basil, possibly some garlic powder. I try to avoid adding fresh ingredients because when you're jarring, you have to be careful of the pH level. We'll go into that a little bit later when we actually get to the jarring stage. But for now, we'll just let this boil, and I will catch up with you later. Okay, you can see this is starting to boil. I'm going to lower the temperature in a moment. I'm going to use this. I'm going to mash up the tomatoes just a little bit, get them a little bit smaller. There's about a half an hour left to cook the sauce for. I've lowered it to a simmer. I've added some basil. Generally, I picked some of the smaller leaves and broke up some of the bigger leaves. And we'll leave this on for about another half an hour, and then we'll begin putting it into the jar. In the meantime, I'm going to start some water boiling because I'm also going to use a hot water bath for the jars to get them to seal. And I will cover that in a moment. Alright guys, we're about ready to get started jarring. We've got some water boiling over here. Will be the hot water bath. We have got the sauce. You can see how much it's boiled down. And over here hidden, we have got the lids over here, and the lids were in some boiling water, and we'll be throwing that in there to make sure everything is sterilized. I have this thing which will help us lift the hot jars, and this is magnetic, and you can get that in Walmart for about $5 for the whole set. So let me take one of the jars out of the oven where it's nice and toasty. We'll put this funnel on, and what I'm going to do is put some citric acid in. Now if you go online, you'll see that it says for a quart container to put a half a teaspoon of citric acid in. Now on other websites or other places, you'll see a lot of Italians don't put anything in there, no preservatives, and they're totally fine. I am going to put actually a quarter teaspoon in. I don't want it to have an acidic taste to it. Other places say to put 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and that I would definitely not want to do. And yet another ones say put vinegar, which totally I think would ruin the flavor of the sauce, which tastes great. I found that a quarter teaspoon actually tastes pretty good, and I feel a little bit safer knowing that it's in there. So what I'm going to do is put some sauce in, make sure it's nice and mixed. Put a couple basil leaves in from the garden, 2 to be exact, and then we'll fill this up till it's about 1/4 inch from the top, anywhere between 1/2 and 1/4 inch. Okay, so we've got 1/4 inch. Now remember, these jars are hot, so be careful. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe down the edges just to make sure I have no sauce on it. You want to make sure you get a nice tight seal. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is, over here I had in some boiling or hot water. I've got a lid. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little magnetic. I'm going to put this on. Then I'm going to go take the band and tighten that on as well. Might need gloves. Okay, so right now it's not sealed, it's just tightened. And next what we're going to do is we're going to put this into a hot water bath. Okay. Over here. You can see it's covered with water. I've got a second one. And I'm going to continue this process and fill up all the jars that I can with the sauce that remains. And I'm going to let this cook in the water bath, or actually stay heated in the water bath for about 40 minutes. Alright, we've had the sauce boiling for a little while. Actually went over 40 minutes by accident. Here's what it looks like, nice and hot. So what I'm going to do next is put it in a box, turn it upside down. I've noticed that the seals are nice and tight when I turn it upside down, and the heat from the sauce will actually help it seal as well. And then I'm going to cover it with a towel, like so. Keep the heat in. You want to keep the heat in for a little bit, and this will actually hold the heat for a little while. And I'm going to then put it downstairs in my basement where it'll just be temperature controlled, and leave it there for 2 days. And turn it over and we'll be done, and it should be a nice seal. Okay, once the sauce cools, what you'll notice is that the lid will be nice and tight. You won't be able to press it in. It shouldn't be popped out. If the seal does not look right, if it's popped out or anything like that, you're going to want to either reseal it or just refrigerate it and then use it. Okay, and that's it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like button. Thank you.